All right. Hello, you guys.
Welcome to Fireside Chat with the Johnstons.
I'm Danielle.
And I'm Justin.
And we are trying something new today. We are streaming a little bit differently. I do feel like that window is still a little bit in the background.
Yeah, it's okay.
You want to shift this way just a little bit?
Sure.
There, that will help.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Let us know. I think we've got it here. Hold on one sec. We're still kind of figuring this out just a little bit. It's using the wrong camera. There we go. Hey, you've got me. You got to get in on this one, Justin.
Yep, I'm there.
There you go.
Perfect.
Okay.
Man, that's a lot clearer. I like that.
I know. We look better.
Yes.
We look better. Alrighty, guys. Well, we are streaming live. We're just going to have to get used to looking right there at that camera. We are streaming live today on YouTube, and we are excited because this is a little bit of a new format that we are just trying to make sure that everybody has access to Fireside Chat with the Johnstons.
And I'm just along for the ride, so let's do this.
All right, let's do this. So guys, if you are not familiar with Fireside Chat, every week we come on and we talk all about owning a cheer gym and what that's like. And so we've got a great topic for today.
And doing it with a spouse can be so much fun. Yes.
It's a blast.
Yes.
Okay, so guys, if you have comments, we do have Allie on there today, and she is going to help make sure that we get access to all of the comments. However, you can either make them in the Facebook groups or you can head over to YouTube Live, and that is where we are going to be this morning. So let me just grab, we both have iPads. Does that make you feel old now, Justin?
Yes, I have to look at an iPad now because my phone is, I'm always like, hey, let's do this. I'm ready here too.
Okay, well, I'm trying to make sure I can just see the comments as they come through here.
So we always start with good news.
Good news.
So Danielle, what is your good news? I always steal her good news, so I let her go first now.
I know. Okay, so my good news today is our oldest and our youngest, we went golfing yesterday.
Oh, yeah. That was actually a good time, and I don't normally like golfing, but it was really a good time. So
I actually love golfing,
yeah.
So it worked out great for me.
Yes. So the fact that our youngest and our oldest wanted to go, like made her day, and then I'm going because it's family thing, and I actually had a good time. It was forced fun, but
yeah, I
ended up having a good time. So.
Well, when we say youngest, let's be honest, we got a 14-year-old, and then the oldest is 21.
21. Yep.
So yeah, it was a good time, guys. We had a blast.
My good news is we get to leave very soon and head to Cancun. So we're going to be going there and meeting our last year's foreign exchange daughters that we had. So we had 2 foreign exchange kids last year, one from Brazil, and then one from Italy. So we're going to meet both of them in Cancun and hang out for like a week down there. So we haven't seen them in a year, and so they're both graduated high school now and getting ready to go to college and do stuff, for the rest of their life. So it's really cool.
Love it.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just going to click because I want to make sure that
we have messages. I can read the messages.
Little tricky here because we cannot see all the messages all the time. So give us just a second, guys, to make sure that we can get on. What are you drinking this early?
Just a Sprite.
Just a Sprite. Okay, then.
Now, usually when we first started this, we were doing this in the evenings. And so it'd be 9 o'clock at night. And we usually have a beverage, which mine was what, Daniel? What drink?
Hold on.
Twisted tea.
Hold on. We're
typically a twisted tea. So it's like my summertime go-to.
That is. Okay, we do have some comments here. I do feel a little old. I'm going to have to make them a little bit bigger for us, because now I'm a little bit farther away.
But we do have a good topic today. This is kind of an important one to hear every so often, because sometimes this subject creeps up on you and it gets you off track. So we're going to attack this. We're going to attack this subject today and tell you why you got to think about it a different way.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, you guys. So really quick, as we're diving in, I see that we have Sandy, we have Monique here. Welcome. We're excited to see you guys. I do think this will take a couple of weeks to kind of get going with the new platform with YouTube Live. So just bear with us a little bit as we get through. We actually have a studio that's going to be upstairs in Justin's office.
With a green screen.
We're not supposed to say that. It's just
Oh.
supposed to look like it's a really cool office
Okay.
behind us.
We're gonna be at the beach pretty soon.
Fireside chat from the beach.
I'm gonna have glasses on and everything. Okay.
So I do just need to let you guys know while we're on here, if you guys are not currently registered for the Denver Business Builder event,
Sorry.
it is a one-day business builder event that we are going to be hosting right there in Denver. Awesome hotel that Shelly got. Shelly and Samantha are going to be there teaching some fantastic classes September 28th. So head over to ngconferences.com and make sure you get registered for that.
Now, the coolest thing about these smaller conferences like this, these one days, is it is smaller. It's more intimate. People can ask more questions. You get to know the speakers a lot more. So in between sessions, you can really talk to these people because there's how many people, Danielle, are we thinking about?
We only take about 35 for these. So I spoke at the one last year that was in Baltimore, and it was really fantastic because I feel like we actually got to know a lot of the people in the room. We got to know what their situation was, their gyms, and I think that can make a really big difference when it comes to what are you going to get out of an event. You know, if you can like really get some one-on-one time with the speakers during lunch and stuff like that. We even met up with them later in the hotel in the lobby and just spent some time talking to all the gym owners then.
Anyways, so that's a big difference at these smaller events if you can make one of these, and the bigger ones don't work out for you. Unlike the bigger ones where we have a lot more options, these are less options but more focused on the business end. So
yeah. Hey, we had good news from Sandy here. She said, good news, I have my first party coming for the gym. Booked my first birthday party, throwing a glow party lock-in for the cheerleaders. Going camping next weekend. That is a lot. We have a lot going on.
You know what, though? It's exciting when you got a bunch of stuff going on like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like being busy. This is a good busy right here. So, yeah.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
You got it. That's awesome. All right. Okay, so today we are going to talk about competitors. And we've done this once or twice. We've talked about it. I realize it's been like 3 years, though.
Real quick. Hi, Monique.
But, yeah, hello. So I want to talk about competitors, but let's start off by like referring to a couple of businesses that you may see are competitors themselves, because I think there's value in just the paradox of, you know, different types of businesses. So as we refer to them, you're familiar with kind of what our brains are thinking when it comes to competitors.
Yep.
So what are a couple that you can think of?
Well, one of my favorite places is Costco because they give out free samples. So that's just me.
He likes the little old ladies.
But then they got Sam's Club. So those two, and they're not normally that far apart. They're within a certain distance of each other. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Also ones like Chick-fil-A and Raising Cane's, they're often very close to each other, especially if you're in the South. I noticed, you know, Chick-fil-A used to be an in the South thing. Now it's kind of an all over thing. But Raising Cane's is definitely kind of starting to make its way up to Missouri where we're located.
Where we live, Home Depot and Lowe's.
And which is your favorite, Justin?
It's only because I live close to it. It used to be Home Depot because I lived closer to that one at that time. But now it's Lowe's because it's literally 5 minutes from my house.
Yeah.
And I'm there, when I'm doing a project, I'm there probably 3 or 4 times a day. Because you just...
He's not exaggerating.
You don't know what you don't need until you need it, and then you need it. Did that make any sense? I don't know if that made any sense, but it made sense to me, and that's all that matters. All right,
I'm going to move past the Lowe's and Home Depot discussion because we could do this all day.
Yeah.
Also, Walgreens and CVS. Did you guys know, I was actually reading this in a book not long ago, that Walgreens and CVS were competitors, and then one of them, and you guys who may know this better than I will, may have to remind me, but I can't remember which one of them decided they were going to stop selling cigarettes. Like, they're like, any tobacco products, we're going to stop selling because we're a health place.
I didn't know that.
Oh. And they were always located really close to each other, the Walgreens and the CVS, but that one thing turned it into a niche, and then they started to get their own versions of customers. And so as competitors, they both began to thrive.
I can see that.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times too, food like franchises and stuff will all be in the same central area, but it drives more people to the area. And so they're competing against each other, but also a driving force to that area. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
So why do we love competitors? You guys might think we're crazy, and I think I even said it in the book, The Cheer Gym Owners. Can I actually have that for a sec? I haven't plugged this on here for a little while. But guys, this is the Cheer Gym Owners Handbook. It's available on Amazon, Audible, and Kindle. If you guys have not checked this out yet, this is a great way to just kind of learn a little bit about how to run a cheer gym and my experiences so far. But the reason I say that is because you guys may have, if you've read it, you may have seen in there, I love having a competitor in town. In fact, when we don't have a competitor for our gym, sometimes it feels kind of like, like we're running a little slower than normal.
Yeah. It's almost boring a little bit. I
wouldn't go that far.
I hate to call it boring, but it's always interesting.
Exciting.
It's always interesting when you got somebody else in town.
And it's not because we love drama or anything like that. No. It's because competitors push you to be better.
Yep.
So whether you are the new competitor or you have a new competitor coming into town, or maybe you have an old competitor that you guys have been, running the rat race for years and years, competitors are great for you. So let's talk a little bit about how they make us better.
Okay, let's do it.
All right. So when we have competitors, I know that I come up with way better ideas. My brain just thinks that way. It does well under pressure, and we come up with just bigger concepts, bigger thoughts.
Yep. When
we have somebody else that is kind of in the back of our minds.
Oh, yeah.
You're always trying to stay ahead of somebody else. Are we going to put out our summer camps, in May when people pretty much already have an idea of what they're going to do for the summer? Or are we always trying to beat the person who's putting it out also?
Right.
And I want to be clear, when we're talking about our cheer gyms, we're not just talking about other cheer gyms as competitors. The local Parks and Rec program has, I would say, the biggest summer camp in our town. And so we always try to make sure that we're putting out our summer camp information way before they do.
Because you don't want to, if you don't have to compete with them, also, once your business gets to a certain point, they don't want to compete with you.
That's true.
And I'm talking when you're putting out the same dates. Because like trunk or treat, people wait for us to put out our dates now, and then they put out theirs around ours because they don't want to compete with the same night because they won't get as many people.
Actually, what did the city do?
I don't remember what now.
Oh, okay.
They just canceled their stuff.
Years and years, the city has done this downtown trick or treating, but because our trunk or treat draws 5,000 to 6,000 people every year, they actually stopped doing downtown trick or treating on the same night that we do trunk or treat. The entire city, okay, there's only 20,000 people.
Yeah.
But the entire city has stopped doing this. Okay, so we have here Madeline. She said, I have 6 other gyms. I'm going to have to get you on this because you can see better than I can.
Yeah, I can read it. I have 6 other gyms in Myrtle. And this season I grew at least 1 or more athlete from each of those gyms.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep.
And then looks like Allie went ahead and posted the link to the book in there.
Madeline's got a very good point here, though. I have 6 other gyms in Myrtle, and she's pulling from all of those. So
we're going to talk about that a little bit.
That's a good point. I want you guys to keep that.
Yeah.
Think about that.
All right. Another reason we just love competitors, consumer choice.
Yes.
Justin, what happens when we have someone in our gym who is not the right fit for us?
We have an option for them.
Yep.
Yeah. We were like, hey, this gym doesn't seem to be working really well for you right now. I'm trying to be super politically correct, but that's the way you kind of put it.
Great way to
this
say it.
Gym does not seem to be working really well for you, but there is another gym in town. We'd encourage you to go try that one out. So,
right. Yeah. Absolutely. So, you're not taking away someone's ability to provide cheerleading for their child, because I will tell you, it sucks being the only one in town and you have a family that is just not working out in your gym, and maybe you have to release them. You get to the point where you can't make it work anymore. It's hard because for me, when we don't have another competitor in town, I feel like I'm taking away cheerleading for that kid. And guys, we all know it's usually not the kid's fault. Okay. So that part kind of stinks.
Sometimes, but not
also,
most of the time. No.
Yeah. Also, I like when there's consumer choice. There's different types of gyms.
Oh yeah.
There's a gym about an hour from us that they want the win. They're going to focus on practicing as many times a week as they need to get the win. Nothing wrong with that. Versus our gym where we're like, hey, we want you to be able to do high school cheerleading. We are going to work alongside you with those practices to make sure that you can do both, because we find the value in that. So it's just different types of gyms, and you allow the parents and the consumers to have the choice of what they're looking for.
And we still want to do well at competitions. We just aren't going to focus completely on that. So
yeah. Also, how do people feel when they don't have a choice about something? When there's only one?
Oh, it's painful. I don't know.
I feel
you almost have to cut. You have to cut things in order to make that work if you really, really want that. So yeah.
When you don't have a choice about something, you're going to get frustrated more easily. Yeah. Like if I went to Walmart and the only type of ice cream now is like vanilla, like I don't think it'd be exciting. It would just kind of be like, that's the only kind I can buy. Yeah, it tastes great.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're just not going to be as satisfied. But when you have a couple of choices, you're usually going to be more satisfied and feel like you have some control over a situation.
Oh yeah.
And people need control.
Well, options. Just like have options in life. I think that's the flavor of life, options. I don't know, just throwing out something. Yeah. It's very palatable to throw out flavor of life.
Are you thinking about ice cream now?
Yeah, I am.
Market expansion. That's another one. When our competitors are putting out ads, you would think that's bad.
This is a big one. This is knock on wood, like pay attention to this one. This is really big.
You would think that's a bad thing. You're like, oh, my competitor is running ads right now. They're going to take all the kids. No way, you guys. I loved when my competitor was running ads because when they're running ads, that's like half the ads I don't have to run because somebody is going to see something for cheerleading, and how many times do you need to see it? 6 to 12 times before you actually make a decision and do something.
It's a lot.
Yeah, but they're going to run ads, and maybe they end up clicking on mine, maybe they click on theirs. But an informed consumer is the best kind of consumer. So a parent.
Remember one of the things that they did, recently in the past was they put yard signs up. We quit doing yard signs a long time ago, but all of a sudden we started seeing yard signs all over the place to go to that other gym, and we were like, man, I haven't seen that in a lot of years, but people were seeing it and talking about it. So it was more people talking about cheer, which leads them to, hey,
I'm going to look at the options.
I'm going to look at what the options are. It's once again, it's back to that having a more than just vanilla.
Yeah. Well, and I'm going to tell you, when people ask about tumbling or cheerleading and they go on a Facebook group, guys, like realistically, there's always going to be a couple people out there who are not going to recommend you for whatever reason. They went there 10 years ago and didn't have a great experience because you were brand new, or for whatever reason, they weren't happy. I'm going to tell you, we get those people because currently we are the only cheer gym in town. So if they came from somewhere else and they had a different expectation and we were not that expectation, they're not super satisfied. So somebody goes out on a Facebook group and says, where should I take my child for competitive cheerleading? There's nothing I hate more than seeing these gyms that are an hour away being recommended, right? When it's us and one other competitor in town, you just have to be better than the other person. Whatever better means, right? Okay, Justin, we've got a couple of comments. Starting here with Sandy.
Yeah, Sandy says, I'm the only gym in town. The next gym is 2 cities over. There is a tumble club, which is where we used to practice.
Yeah.
So the tumble club is kind of your competition at the moment. So
yeah, well, in addition to Parks and Recreation, soccer, swim, softball. Guys,
after school activities.
How many people probably lost a couple of kids this year to soccer, softball, swim, one of those other activities.
Baseball, all those.
Yeah. If you lost kids to them, they are also your competitors.
Dance.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, dance places.
Forgot about that.
That's a big one.
Yeah. Sandy said there was another gym, but just shut the doors. They were not in our town, but the next town over. And if you're in a small town like us, the next town over is just as much of a competitor as your own, right?
Yeah. But just shut the doors. That's, guys, you don't know how often that happens. Like when you're out there watching, it's amazing how many just shut the doors. And there's, this is why we're talking and doing these things right here. There's no reason to be shutting the doors. If you're able to, like just talking about this right now, advertising, when those people are Googling you, you ought to have a great website. Your website ought to be not just information, but they ought to be, here's how to purchase, here's how to take action. It should be an action item on your website, not just, hey, we have hours. Here's the hours we're open. Here's our colors.
Here's our basically an online brochure.
Yeah. Here's what our outfit looks like. Hey, check this out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We also have a comment. My favorite thing is when I see competitors run ads that I know are making marketing mistakes. I know this person who commented this. She's actually very good at marketing. Sat in some of my sessions in Dallas, and I was like, this girl has come a long way this year.
Who's that now?
So, well, I'm trying to be, discreet
Okay.
because a lot of people can watch these now. But anyway, yeah. So here's the thing, guys. Like, you want your competitor to not quite be as good as you, but you want your competitor to be good.
Yeah, but at the same time, your competitor is never going to be you.
Yeah.
Your gym reflects you and your personality and what you would like to see. So the other gym will never beat you. And so that's okay. When people come to your gym, they're going to see pretty much a reflection of you. And if that's not something they like, then they can move to the other gym. And that's okay, because you're never going to make everybody happy. The key is, though, you want to make the majority of your people happy. And that's the key to it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Now, in terms of cheer gyms, we've been in business. We're in season 13. And when we first opened, we were the competitor. There was another gym that had been in town for like 10 years.
I thought it was like 13 at the time or something.
Maybe.
Okay, it was a little 10.
The year we opened is the same year they decided to sell. Since then, in the last 13 years, 4 other cheer gyms have popped up and are no longer open.
Yep.
And so I will tell you, we were better during all those times that we had another gym open. So if they had come out of the gate with like phenomenal marketing and great website and all these things, like how much better do you think it would have made me?
Oh man, it would have kicked Danielle into high gear, which it did every time anyways.
But that's just because I'm like highly competitive.
Oh yeah.
But when they come out and it's like, we don't have a website, but fill out this Google form to get our packet. Is that bad? In theory, no. But is mine a lot more professional by having a website where I can collect their information, email market to them, and they can access the packet right there? Absolutely.
Yep.
So the better your competitor is, the better you will be. We're all in all-star cheerleading because you're competitive by nature, is my guess.
Yep.
Okay. A couple of comments here.
Yes, we have, which one here?
I believe, I've got to roll down.
Okay,
no, I'm, there we go. All right. So, let's talk for just a minute about what is success. Like, what does it mean to be the best gym in town?
I guess just being the best at what you currently do. Like, if you need to master the actual, I'm trying to think of the word, the basics in your gym. Is that what you'd be saying? Yeah.
Yeah, like the foundational things.
Yeah.
Like, are you amazing at marketing? Do you have systems that are going to be consistent for every person who comes in the gym every time?
Yeah. Almost like that. I hate to use McDonald's,
No,
but
true.
Almost to use like McDonald's as an example. It's not the best burger in town, but it's consistently the same burger every single time, and people want that. The problem with many gyms that we see is you come in one time for a class, it's great, you leave, you come back the next time, and the coach is 15, 20 minutes late, and you're like, and you have somebody else jumping in, and it seems all over the place, there's no control. They aren't doing the same exercises before the class started that they did before. There's just no consistency. And so it's frustrating to a customer to be like, what am I paying for? What am I actually paying for? Is this actually the coach? Did the coaches even show up on, it's just, there's no control. And so having that consistent, and if cheer is your big thing, or rec tumbling or something like that is your big thing, make sure that thing is awesome. Like, it's consistently the same every time. If it's not consistent, you can't improve something that's not consistent. Like, because you have no basis. Like, there's no baseline. Like, here's our baseline right here. We can't improve on it. Like,
yeah, you're right.
So anyways, go ahead.
Well, and also, what's the definition of being the best? Is it the gym that sustains the longest? Is it the gym that is the most profitable? Is it the gym that has the most kids, that has the most wins? Like, there's so many different ways to define success that I don't think that you can say we are the best off of this one thing or this other thing.
Yep.
Right? It's going to be a composition of things. And you really don't know a whole bunch of things about your competitor.
True.
Like, what's their financial position? How much rent do they pay? What's their insurance? How much do they pay their staff? Like, you can hear these things from other people or hear them third hand, but you're not going to be able to determine if they're better than you or more successful than you simply off of like the facts that you've been given third hand.
I mean, how many times have you seen people that are driving around the nicest cars, have the nicest car, house, stuff like that, to find out that they're so far in debt that they're like 1 month away from losing it all. That's the same thing with gyms a lot of times. So don't ever think just because they have brand new floors and they got a brand new backdrop and all this stuff that they're not super in debt and like a month away from going out of business. It's typical. That's very typical. So don't let those things distract you.
Well, I'm also going to tell you, let's say you lose a whole bunch of kids to another gym in town. Does that make them more successful? I don't know. Because if it's the first season, you have no idea how successful they were at keeping those kids. They might be great at marketing to your athletes, but that doesn't mean that they're great at keeping them. The grass always looks greener at the beginning.
Yeah. Or management in general. Managing staff in a bigger gym like that can be super overwhelming for a lot of gyms. So that it could be complete chaos at that moment when people gain a lot of people and they don't know how to do anything more than just I'm gonna do it all myself. Because there's a lot of gym owners that just want to do it all themselves and they get burnt out. So it doesn't last long like that.
So we're talking a lot about competitors.
Yeah.
It's really hard, especially if you have good competitors, it's really hard to not be focused on them too much.
True.
Right? Yeah. I think it can become a consumption thing. There's a reason varsity TV exists, right? Because if I go to a competition and I see, these teams that are really good and I know I'm going to be up against them, but I didn't have time to watch all the routines, I can subscribe for $30 a month and I can go watch the routines and see what I'm going to be up against at the next competition. There's a reason those exist. So is that what we want to be focused on moving forward, is constantly be watching our competitors like a hawk?
Actually, slow and steady wins the race, right? Absolutely. Yeah, it really is. So one of the things that happens a lot in competition, and you're always watching the other person, is they're copying our stuff. Those are my ads. Those are my exact same ads. Instead of Minnie Mouse Camp, now it's Winnie Mouse Camp. Like you're like, I'm just kidding.
If you guys have ever been down to, what is it, like Hollywood Boulevard? Yeah. Oh my gosh, that was our first experience with like
Winnie Mouse.
Chinese Minnie Mouse.
Yes.
That was terrible.
I was like, that doesn't look anything like Minnie Mouse, but it is a mouse.
But it's a mouse with a bow.
Yeah.
But the 3-year-olds loved it. So.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, guys. Don't be so focused on your competitor that you forget what this is all about.
Yep.
Don't forget that you still have a product and it is your job to make sure that you have the best product out there. And you can't do that if 90% of your focus is on what did they post on social media? What's on their website this week? What does their all-star packet look like? Where are they competing this season?
Yep.
Right? We had some competitors that could have cared less about us. And I actually thought that was great on their behalf. We had others that would wait until our competition schedule came out and they would purposely pick other events. And their customers are the ones who told us, because eventually those customers came over. They were the ones who said, they were really honest. They were waiting until your schedule came out, didn't want to go up against you guys. And so they waited. I would never do that as the competitor. If I'm the underdog, I would never do that.
Yep. Why?
Well, it's not, for me, we're not the gym that is 100% about the win. We're about the experience, and we want to win. Like I said, I'm a very competitive person, but we're about the experience. And so I'm not afraid to go up against somebody really good, because going up against somebody really good makes you better.
Yep. Our goal at our gym is we want kids to come in at a young age, love the sport, fall in love with it, fall in love with the culture in our gym, and stay with us for a long time, to the point where they're junior coaches, now they're coaches. Eventually, they could be full-time staff for us, and because it's just a fun environment. We want a place that you feel like family, you're treated like family. So I'm sure you guys want that as well. But that's been our focus, is let's make the gym to that point, and it's been working really, really well. Yeah. So yeah.
We have had the competitors over the years that have basically taken our packet, copied it word for word, to the point that like a punctuation error was also copied over.
Yeah.
And that's how you knew that you were like, oh my gosh, this is literally the exact same thing.
And were you frustrated, Danielle?
Yes, I was. I was, because I had that punctuation error.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. don't get emotional about it, because the more emotional that you are about something like that, the more it's going to take your focus away from your own business, and it's going to put it over onto their business. And the last thing you want is two people focused on their business.
So Madeline made a comment here real quick. Focusing your energy to the right things is so important. Make sure you're building the best version of your business possible. And really, guys, starting with those core classes that you like, these are the classes that bring the most kids in. They do the most good for the kids and the gym in general. Focus on those and making those like, these are the fundamentals in this business. And then when you see the new shiny lures, like, hey, let's start birthday parties, let's do this, you know, these different things, you can, but you can branch off of those because you've got those now 100%. Yeah. And people, your reputation is going to be built on those core classes. It's not going to be built off of birthday parties or this and that. It's going to be built off those. Like, if you want good tumbling in town, you're going to go to this gym.
At least at the beginning. I agree with you, at least at the beginning. Do you think part of our reputation these days is built off of our events?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. We've built, because those core classes and people knew they could depend on Twisters to put out a good product, we've been able to branch off now and be like, okay, these people are going to continue running this, and now we're going to branch off. And now, like, you know, trunk or treat, we've killed it. Killed that. Like, we're the bomb. Yeah, Danielle was like, let's go big on this.
Oh, was it me?
Yeah.
Am I the one that was like, let's do fireworks on Halloween?
Yes. No, she did not.
What's your new one, Justin? What's your new obsession?
My new obsession?
With trunk or treat?
Is going to be a haunted house. So I wanna charge just a little bit of money for kids to go through a haunted house, and I want it to be a lot of fun.
It's going to have to be a decent amount of money, because I know how much this guy intends to spend on.
But I want to kill it. Like, there's none that are right in town. You have to drive a ways out of town to get to them. And I'm like, if we could have one in town that was awesome, we would, like, everybody would want to come. And that's more kids coming through your gym, checking stuff out, being there. Like, what is this place? Like, it is surprising, even in a small town. This is the key to this. Even in a small town, it's surprising how many people have no idea what Twister Sports is in our small town. So
that's true.
If that's in a small town, in a big town, I mean, its opportunity is huge. It's just, there are people that don't even know about you. And it's crazy. Like, every time you talk to people, they're like, hey, yeah. But at the same time, you still run into people and they're like, what is this place? And you're like, oh my gosh, have you been in a cave? Like, I don't, like, it's crazy. Sometimes it just baffles me sometimes. So, but anyways, but everybody knows where Walmart is. How do we get like Walmart?
We have to associate ourselves. We're a quarter mile north of Walmart.
Yes.
So if you guys don't see Justin the whole month of September and October, it's because he's building a haunted house.
Yep. Oh my God, I love that idea. I may do that one day. Yes. I'm gonna put together the system for it.
Yeah.
Because I gotta make it scary, but not too scary. So it's gotta be a certain range. I can't be like,
no, I can't
have people coming out that peed their pants and stuff. That's not gonna be repeat customers.
I'm not gonna lie. I feel like that's your definition of success.
That kid peed his pants. We're successful.
Justin,
go ahead.
Justin really made some neighbors mad last year with his fireworks.
Yeah, I did.
Trunk or treat.
They were not ready for it because it wasn't the 4th of July. So.
Yep. So I'm gonna go back just because I think this was a really good point. We were way off on that.
Yeah, we did.
But when we talk about your competitors making you feel emotional, I want you guys to remember a couple of things. I hear from gym owners all the time, I lost a ton of kids to my competitor this year. Did you lose a ton, or did you really lose like 5 or 6 and it feels like a ton because that's the emotional investment you had in those kids?
Yep.
Right? And are those 5 or 6 kids going to actually put you under? Do the math. If you're in the academy, get with your next gen coach. Because here's the thing, you might be the best business owner in the world and these things will happen.
Yep.
I'm not going to say we never lost kids over to our competitor. Most of the time they were families we kind of wanted to lose. But sometimes you did have families that you were like, man, I love that kid. That really sucks that they went down to the competitor. Or that gym up the street I shouldn't say up the street, an hour away that does focus on the win. We have some kids who like just wanted to go to Worlds. They wanted the win. and I couldn't provide that level 6 experience for them. And so you lose them to that gym. And so don't get so emotional about it. As hard as it is, you can still love the kid and not be in love with the decision that they made. Okay.
I mean, but at the same time, if you can't provide like the level that they needed,
So that
and
was
they moved up,
just one example.
Yeah.
But if you are basically providing
You're
a
happy about that.
similar to identical experience, which has happened in other experiences, I'm just saying, don't be so emotional about it, because you can separate the athlete from the decision that they made. Because in 10 years, who's going to care?
Yep.
Like, you're going to see that kid, you know, who's still going to be a kid to you, but now an adult, you're going to see that person and you're going to see them somewhere else. And you are going to still have those like loving feelings like you coached that kid.
Yeah.
Right? You should.
I mean, it's kind of cool, but we've had kids that have left, gone to other programs, and then came back and have and even coach for us now in the future, because they're out of cheer altogether, but they just really remembered the good times and really wanted to come back to that culture. So
yeah,
yep.
For sure.
Grass is not always greener. Yep.
So a couple of other tips we have here when you're talking about your competitors: do not base your prices off your competitor.
Oh yeah.
This, I cannot stomp my foot enough about this. Do not base them off your competitor.
If you keep lowering prices because, now they're $100, now we're going to be $99, and then they're going to be $97 and $95. The fastest one to the bottom is the biggest loser.
It's only good in gas.
Yeah.
That gas station is less than that gas station.
Yeah, you get the same gas, I guess. I don't know, maybe not.
Oh my gosh, you're so picky about gas
I
too.
am.
Justin will drive an extra 2 miles for the good gas at a gas station. So I guess that's a bad example for him.
That was terrible.
But number one, you don't know their expenses.
Yeah.
2, you don't know their financial situation. You don't know their financial literacy. How good are they with money? Guys, some of these huge gyms, I'm going to tell you right now, not as good with money as you think they are.
Oh, no.
Not as good in business as you think they are.
No.
So do not assume that because someone has a big name or a franchise gym that they're doing amazing.
And that they're not subsidizing other things in the program.
Correct.
To make that program so cheap that it is that cheap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not smart. It's not a smart move. I can tell you that.
Yeah. You don't know somebody else's financial situation. You don't know their business knowledge. And something that we were listening to yesterday, there's a difference between knowledge and wisdom. And I think this applies so specifically in cheer also. You guys can watch these videos. You can listen to the Cheer Biz podcast. You can go to the conferences. But somebody who has been doing this for 2 years versus somebody who's been doing this for 10, there's going to be a different level of wisdom. Assuming you're both on the same path of knowledge, one will be more experienced and they will know how to utilize the knowledge that they've been given.
Yeah, you can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't know how to apply it and use that knowledge correctly, then it's not really wisdom at that point. It's just knowledge. You can have, how many times have we, I'm just going to throw it out there, book nerds. All the answers in the world, but they have no common sense.
Yeah.
And it's that right there. That's where the wisdom comes in. If you can take the book nerd and add common sense at the same time, what do you get? It's a genius.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and also and if you've only been in business a couple years, don't think that I'm saying, that you don't have any of that good experience, because you might have that experience, but maybe it's coming from a different industry or a different experience that you've had in life that can then be applied to the gym. At the same time, we have gyms that have joined the academy that have been in business 25 years, joined the academy, and in 2 years, their business has completely changed for the better.
Yep.
Because for 26 years, they ran it the same way. They maybe had some knowledge, but they never knew how to apply that knowledge within the gym itself.
But why do people do that? People are creatures of habit. Mm-hmm. And once you've done something and you're like, hey, it ain't broke, don't fix it. We just continue in that same rut until there's a reason to jump out of the rut.
Right. Next up, don't focus on getting their kids or their staff. There are plenty of kids. Guys, if I can say this in a town of 20,000, there are plenty of kids for everybody.
Yep.
You don't have to focus on the kids that are at the gym down the street. Focus on getting the kids who've never done cheer before. I'm going to say the same on staff. The easiest staff members to train are the ones that don't have the experience. The ones that have the experience and are going to rival you when you say this is how to train tuck or a layout or a full or whatever, those are the ones that are going to be more difficult for you, and they're the ones that are going to be harder to train. So focus on those people that have never done this before, and I agree with even in staff, right? Build up your own staff members, start those new people at the bottom so that you've got a career progression for them. Don't focus on taking the staff and the coaches from the other, or the staff and the athletes from the other gym.
And I'm going to say this just from a bigger standpoint, more general, but there's no limit on opportunity and success in life. There's nobody that says there's only 100. I use like credits or something. There's only 100 credits out there, and you only get like a little portion. You know what I mean? There's
right.
none. There's 100 is not the number. It's opportunity and success is unlimited. And it only goes to those people that are out there achieving it or going after it. Will you have some non-successful times? Absolutely. But that's what determines whether you're going to be successful in the future. Because if you're going and you're trying and you're pushing and you fail, okay, scrap that one. Like, move over from that one, figure out what you did wrong, and then continue going again. You will have success. You're going to have these mile markers in your life as you're going along, but there's no limit on it. So continue pushing. Like, you will have success, for sure. If you can, and especially if you're educating yourself. So
yeah, and don't get down on yourself about things.
Yeah.
Like, you might be the underdog. We were the underdogs. And
absolutely. For I don't know how long.
We got really lucky because the people who had been in business for like 13 years decided to sell.
Yeah.
So it was basically 2 first-time gym owners up against each other. So we got kind of lucky in that. But I will say, like, we didn't know they were going to sell.
No.
We spent 6 months prepping to open the gym, having no idea that the other gym owner in town had intentions of selling. And we
were completely new too.
We were fully prepared to be the underdogs.
We had no idea really how to run a business at the time either. We were just coming into it. Yeah.
So these days when somebody opens, and I'm not going to say, like, we don't have a competitor right now, that won't be forever. One day another competitor will open in our town. But when that happens, don't take them as the underdog. Don't assume that they are not going to make it for whatever reason. Maybe it's a coach that came from your gym. Maybe it's a parent who came from your gym. Don't assume that they are not capable of making it for whatever reason.
Yep.
Because as soon as you start assuming that, you are not going to take them as seriously as you need to, and you're going to start finding that they're going to be more successful because they're running at a faster pace.
Absolutely. And sometimes people coming out of something completely different and into this career, into this industry, can be the most successful. You can't type people and cast them to the side and be like, oh, that's just a mom that bought that gym and is going to start it now.
Right.
No, those are some of the most successful ones. So don't underestimate them, like Danielle said. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So don't give them a reason not to like you. When it comes to the other people in town, I'm going to be honest, play nice, always be professional, because if that other gym...
This is key. This is key.
If that other gym were to close at any point, the last thing you want is all those parents driving an hour away for another gym because you guys weren't professional and you weren't kind and you weren't whatever over the years.
Yep.
Right?
Stay professional. It's terrible to see people get so ugly. It's almost like politics, but in the gym world. Yeah, it's almost like politics. It's like, well, she said this and she did this, and they're copying our stuff, and it's like, at the end of the day, it's petty. It's very petty stuff. You're both trying to do the same thing, so just be the best version of yourself and keep it that way. And if they say something bad about you, just be like, we have nothing. There's nothing really to say. I'm focused on my gym, and I'm going to do my thing, and I'm going to do the best I can at it, and that's all that matters. At the end of the day. Because if they do go out of business, like Danielle said, you don't want to have that over your head where people are like, well, remember when you said this, and
right.
People don't forget those things. So just keep it cool, keep it nice, and at the end of the day, you have nothing to be ashamed of other than having a great gym and having fun. So
lastly, guys, if your only goal is to beat that competitor in town, then you're playing what Simon Sinek in the book infinite game.
Yep.
You're playing what he calls a finite game. It's got a beginning and it's got an end.
Yep.
What happens when you do beat that competitor? What happens when they beat you? The game is over. And business is not a game. It's not a game that you're going to just play for a period of time. It's something
Or
that
you should.
Yeah, not that you should play for a period of time. It's something you want to go in perpetuity. You want a legacy. You want something you can sell. So don't set your goal on just beating somebody else. What happens? You win Summit. Woohoo! Like, was that the only goal that you had the entire time? That's a finite game. You're playing the infinite game. You are focused on making these kids better people. You want to build a legacy that they are going to come back 10 years from now and say, like, man, Twisters was really a pivotal moment in my life.
Yep.
Like,
I learned so much from that.
I learned so much, and it saved me from these other things that I could have gotten myself into in high school that I didn't. And I'm really grateful for that. You want that kind of legacy and that kind of impact on people. And you can't do that if you are so focused on your competitor or on a singular goal that you can't look toward the future.
I mean, we have had other places say bad things about us in the past, but we just focused, and we're like, we're not going to respond to that. We're just going to continue forward and just doing what we need to be doing. And you know what? It turns out that over time, people will just be like, you know what? I see that isn't true. That stuff is not true, and we don't even have to defend ourselves. Other people will start defending you for it, because you don't have to defend yourself when it's actions and not words. So show people how awesome you are, and you don't have to tell people how awesome you are. Just show it. So and people will see it. So.
All right, guys. Well, with that, that kind of wraps up Fireside Chat for this week. Just so that you know, next week we're in Mexico. So we're not going to be on here for Fireside Chat. So I was waiting for you to use your Spanish.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be hasta la vista, Cancun.
We were somewhere yesterday, and the guy goes, "Yeah, that's no bueno." And Justin looks at me and goes, "He speaks Spanish." So we are super excited to be going on vacation with our family, and so we will not be on here for Fireside Chat. I hope you guys are getting in those vacations, because if you haven't noticed, summer is like halfway gone, and I do not want it to pass you by so quickly that the fall happens and you're like, where did my summer go? I wish I would have taken a break when I needed one.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And kind of like constant improvement, we're still improving this, but one day we're going to have a little green screen. That should be coming up next.
You're not supposed to tell that it's a green screen.
Danielle ordered something to put us on the beach.
We are genuinely just going to be filming from the beach.
You know, I can't not say that stuff. It's going to be the coolest.
I know.
I want the whole suit, though, where it's just my head and my hands will be floating around. Yeah. And you won't see the rest of me.
Exactly.
It's going to be awesome.
All right, guys. So make sure that you check the links in the chat. We have got ngconferences.com to check out our September Business Builder event. And then the link is also in the chat for the Cheer Gym Owners Handbook. Yeah. All right.
And if you guys are interested or want to know more about what NG actually does as far as the academy, then feel free to reach out to us. And you can go to ngowners.com as well.
That is not the website.
It is not? What is it? www.
We're going to see if Allie can post that in the links.
Yeah.
But it is nextgenowners.com.
Did I say, I said NG.
Just don't even say anything else, because it's confusing.
Okay, yeah, it is confusing. My bad.
Okay, guys.
But anyways.
All right. And before Justin says anything else, we will see you on the next episode of Fireside Chat.
Yes. Ciao. That's actually Italian, though.